Okay, so before we get into thinking about what the different levels of this practice look like, I want to just parse out some of the core conceptual content and meaning of this practice so that we can all get on the same page about what in the world it is that we're looking for when we're scoring on this practice. Clearly, there is a lot going on. If you're looking at the rubric right now, like I am, there's a lot going on. Over here, I have the language about this practice from the BCAIP instructional framework. There's a lot going on, and it's complicated because really the goal, it's in the name of the project, but these practices are designed to be integrating a lot of different instructional ideas. So to me, it can feel really overwhelming to try to parse out what are the parts of this practice that I'm looking for and at different levels. The differences can be subtle, the meanings can be subtle. So okay, so having said that, I want to pull out some of the key ideas. So I am going to read a little bit of this, but before I do that, I wanted to pull out that to me, so the three key things to pay attention to in this practice are the three things in the title, right? We're thinking about framing instruction. So primarily, how is the lesson that we're observing? How is it designed? What is it designed to do? What is it designed to include? And so that can be something that's a little bit subtler because you may or may not have the teacher's lesson plan in front of you. But we want to be thinking about what is designed into this lesson. And then we want to see students represented in the lesson, so they're not just kind of passive objects or objects with no ideas and experiences of their own in the classroom. We want to see really the teacher making a clear effort to make the content of the class not just about experts' ideas about the content, but about the students' ideas and experiences that are relevant to the content as well. And then the central disciplinary ideas. This is getting at that while we want to see teachers exposing students to content, obviously, disciplinary ideas and practices, we also want to see a hierarchy of ideas so that not every idea or disciplinary idea is given the same weight, or it's not presented as discrete and separate. We want to see the teacher representing disciplinary knowledge as something that has architecture, something that has design, ideas are connected and interrelated, and there is an internal architecture to them within the discipline, and that some ideas are central and that those deserve to be overarching themes across multiple lessons or potentially an entire unit that can kind of encapsulate and give structure to thinking about the less central ideas, the ideas that maybe kind of build up to and support a central disciplinary idea. So that's kind of hard to talk about in this context because, of course, we're talking about science and ELA and math. But you guys, you supervisors, I'm sure are aware of which ideas are central and which are less central. And we also point out down here that the standards documents for each of these subjects can help us identify which are the central disciplinary ideas compared with the more supporting ideas or less central, less integral ones. Okay. And so I like to maybe another way of putting the primary concepts that we're thinking about in this practice. I I pulled out what to me is just another way of saying kind of what I've just said, just because different ways of saying things can ring more true, with different people. Um, so to me, with this practice, we're really looking at the nature and organization of the conceptual content of the lesson that you're observing, where conceptual content includes both the disciplinary ideas and students' ideas, students' experiences, their worlds, if you will. And then we're looking at, okay, what's the time span that these different ideas are sort of played with in the lesson? Is an idea being, is it a theme over multiple lessons, maybe multiple weeks? Is a student's idea dealt with a theme over multiple lessons? Or is it at least leverage to be part of the lesson for a couple minutes? Or is it just sort of a student might bring something up and it gets written off, or kind of let go into the ether after just a moment? So we're thinking about time spent on ideas. And then finally, we're looking at the focus on EBLs. That's kind of like the third distinct thing about this practice, is that in order to perform this practice at its highest level, we do need to see the teacher making specific, focused effort to engage with the lived experiences and ideas of their emergent and experienced bilingual students in order to help those students expand their literacy practices in any and all of their languages that they are working with.